What is up, my aesthetic boys? It's Fresh, back with another video. On today's episode, we have one of the wilder stories from any entitled subreddit that I've ever read, so I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you stick around for that one. Billy! Oh God, Billy, what have you done, kid? Who'd you shoot? 5G. Towers. Cause. Autism. I shoot him again. I'd like to welcome you guys back to another episode of How to Get Demonetized in the first 20 seconds of a video. Neighbor is pissed catnip is taking over her yard after I warned her not to plant it. We moved in a year ago and have been friendly with the neighbors. I now understand why people are no longer friendly with neighbors in this day and age. One is a creep who, upon meeting, I told my husband to never leave me alone with. Hubs didn't believe me until his wife left him because of some crazy church affair shit. The others were great, until, of course, they weren't. We bought this house because it had over 1,000 square feet of landscaped, beautiful garden beds. It had been neglected for 3 years, so it took me hundreds and hundreds of hours to clean it up. And now, breathtaking. Whew, well, at least they're modest. My neighbor noticed I was working on the garden and told me how much she wanted to put in a garden herself. Anytime I was splitting hostas or lilies, I made sure to offer them to her, which she happily accepted. I started noticing she was planting them in bad spots, like places that just didn't make sense. No overall design, not in the sun condition. Whatever, not my problem. I was going to toss them anyway. She asked me for tips, and I suggested making rough plans of the beds before buying things. She ignored that and continued to place things in haphazard spots. Whatever, she can do her, she doesn't need to follow advice. Well, then came the catnip. We both have cats, and it can be a pretty and sustainable addition to the garden, when contained. Catnip spreads fast. It gets huge and just keeps going. She asked me for some, and I was nervous, but I should have followed my gut. I gave her some anyway, but this time I wasn't subtle in my advice. I told her, you cannot plant this in the ground. It needs to be contained somehow. A pot, garden edge. I probably said this 3 times. Well, of course she didn't, and I saw it spreading and spreading closer to my lot. So I went to HD, Home Depot, and grabbed some garden edge and lined my fence with it. No way I was letting that into my yard. So it spread and spreads, and she thinks it is just so beautiful. Until it's out of control, and she's trying to pull it out, but it just keeps coming back, and she's unwilling to put in the hours or money to get rid of it. So she gives up, and it takes over her lawn. And the 3 other neighbors. They're pissed because they are constantly fighting with it now. One day, we're all chatting at the fence line. She told everyone it was my fault. I was shocked. I asked, how so? And she said it was my fault for giving it to her, and I must have some other type because it doesn't spread. Now she's demanding I fix her and the neighbors' yards. Luckily, they laughed her off and took my side, but no more free plants for you. Right, so obviously this is an entitled gardener situation. They obviously should not have planted the catnip in the way that they did. It got out of control. It ruined multiple houses' yards. That's terrible. You can't ask OP to pay for that, but I swear to the Lord, I swear to God, if I owned a house, regardless of where I was getting my flowers from, if a neighbor gave me some flowers and I planted them where I felt like it, and that neighbor tried to tell me that I was planting them too haphazard, or tried to tell me or criticize where I was planting my lilies, I would not be happy with them. For a story that comes to a fairly cut and dry ending of, yes, the person getting the catnip, getting the plants from OP was in the wrong, OP spends a lot of time, like literally half this post, describing how careless they are with flowers. But again, not in harmful ways, just in, oh, you don't plan your flower beds before you plant them. So, not sure about that one, Chief. Lady, I'm in high school, so I work retail at a pretty big nationwide company that can't be named for literally there's no rule on this sub that you can't say the name of a store, but anyhow, the majority of my supervisors primarily pride themselves on our store looking nice both inside and out. Our store was looking pretty bad one day outside with a ton of litter, and my manager asked my supervisor to sweep up and tidy up. Well, being the youngest employee there, I got stuck doing it. I'd taken out the trash and was sweeping up when a little girl and her mom come walking by. The little girl, who was an absolute cutie, points to me and asks her mom, "Mom, why is she sweeping the dirt?" And I hear the mom reply, "Well, honey, that's what happens when you don't go to college." I'm 18. I graduated high school last week. Okay, quick correction to something that I said earlier. Now, I said that there wasn't a rule against having the names of stores in there. There actually is a rule that says all screen names must be completely obscured, and no real names allowed at all. Now, I always thought that referred to people, and that's why people do that annoying ass format of acronyms like EM, EP, those kinds of things, right? But it could extend to stores, and I might just not know because I never go on this subreddit. This video is sponsored by ExpressVPN. Now, you probably know about ExpressVPN being named the top VPN provider by CNET. I'm sure you've heard about their premium servers that make them faster than any other VPN provider, and hell, you might even know about how their trusted server technology makes it physically impossible for ExpressVPN servers to store any of your data. But did you know that I use ExpressVPN to watch Doctor Who on Netflix UK because apparently it's no longer on Netflix US? ExpressVPN makes my life easier and lets me run my connection through 94 different countries, all while keeping my data totally encrypted. And lucky for you guys, you can get 3 months for free. Find out how by going to expressvpn.com/fresh. Make your digital life safer today at expressvpn.com/fresh. A lady just sat down and the first thing out of her mouth was, "I'll get a water, no ice, because I doubt you're following COVID regulations with your ice." And it was in that moment that I realized Karens have been reloaded with a whole new set of ammunition. It's amazing you've taken this long to realize that COVID brings a new argument to the arsenal of the average Karen. But my question is, what is ice protocol relating to COVID? Why is it different from water that you'd trust, say tap water, but not the ice that they may use made from the same water? Anyway, the point is, the person who's likely to complain about ice not following COVID protocol when they're asking for a glass of water at a restaurant is the same type of person who's going to go to a Florida town hall meeting and complain about how it's their God-given right to not have to wear a mask in a public place in the midst of a global f***ing pandemic. Karen throws small wine rack on the ground because I ordered it. A little context first. Every year on the 2nd of June, it's Father's Day. For Father's Day, I ordered and wait, I'm sorry. Roll this back a sec. Did he just explain that Father's Day was a thing that exists? I'm pretty sure he did. That's a lot of context. Yes, so Father's Day exists, and for Father's Day, I ordered and paid for a small wine rack with 6 wines in it online. So, on to the story. Characters. Karen, a 40-year-old woman without Karen haircut. Josh, a male employee in the store. Sarah, a female employee in the store and friend of mine. Good guy, Brian. Brian for sure. Wow, this guy's a way with words, certainly. Quite the nickname. Brian is the store owner, and me is, guess who, ubiquitous. This is not unique. The store I ordered at has regular lines and a reserved line. The regular line is the usual. Wait, I'm sorry. I don't understand what's going on. He didn't explain what a store was. So, you get in after you took your stuff off the shelves. The reserved line is for people who ordered something online. This is so they can get their stuff without having to wait in the regular lines. The regular line was pretty long, let's say 7 people, but the reserved line was free. So, having ordered and paid online, I set myself in the reserved line. This did not sit well with a Karen. "Sir, you have to wait in the back of the line." "No, I don't." "Yes, you do. It's against the law." Here we go again. "Ma'am, I've ordered online and I don't care what you did or who you are. You have to wait in the back of the line like everyone else." She looks around for her support, but nobody was there for her. By this time, the Josh saw what was happening and tried to explain to Karen what was happening. Didn't really pay attention to the conversation, but she was off my back. So I gave Sarah my order number. She goes to the back, comes back with my package, and I go home happy. I wish that happened, but this would not be a good story if it did. So here is what happened. During the time that I gave my order and Sarah came back with my package, the other employee was done explaining things to Karen. I don't know if Josh gave up on Karen or if Karen brushed him off in the end, but I did get my package and turned around to see Karen storming towards me. She takes my package out of my hands, I was a bit surprised how strong she was, and throws it on the ground. The wine rack foot was bent and 4 of the 6 bottles broken. "There, now you have to get a new one and stand in the back of the line like everyone else." I am dumbfounded. Sarah says WTF, which is weird because usually people don't speak in acronyms. And then she says, "Yeah, Brian, can you come to the counter? We have a situation." "Well, what are you waiting for? Go get your stuff and get to the back of the line." She starts to go back to her place. "What is wrong with you, woman? What is wrong with you, young man? You cannot cut in line. It's against the law." Meanwhile, Brian arrives. Brian separates us both and gets our statements. Apparently, according to her, I cut in line, and when she was stopping me, I threw the wine rack to her. Then Brian goes away for a sec to check the camera footage. No change in Karen's face, though. and he comes back and the following conversation goes like this. Brian says, "Ma'am, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave the store." "Why? I didn't break the law and he did." "Why should I leave? I haven't even paid for my stuff." "Please leave the store or police will be called." "Call them. They will say I'm right." Brian sighs, takes out his cell phone, and dials the police. Now, the police, for those of you who are uninitiated, are the ones who killed Breonna Taylor. Ooh, man, I can feel some dislikes rolling in on that one, but keep them coming, baby. Keep them coming. We got to spread that awareness. Go hard for her. Anyhow, back to the story. A few minutes pass by and the police come. Take statements from me, Karen, and Brian. Karen went again with the throw the wine rack story. Police go to the back of the room for the camera footage. They come back and escort her in cuffs to the police car. The whole time she was yelling, "This is against the law. I was in my right. You can't do this. What about him?" One of the police comes over and says, "Technically what she did is assault. Do you want to press charges?" "Hell yes. Then let me sign a paper with my statement and wish me a happy day further." The owner of the store replaced the wine rack with another one they still have in the store, but this one was more expensive. Mine was €80 in total, this one was 95, but didn't charge for the extra €15. Now, if you notice my tone get more sarcastic at the end, it's because of how fucking stupid the story got. This post has almost every single popular trope on the related subs of entitled people. We have a lone Karen, a helpful store manager, exasperated employees, Karen lashes out for no reason, law enforcement is called, the security footage is checked, Karen gets immediately reprimanded in a way that is likely too severe, OP gets the sweet victory he so earnestly longed for, and then everyone has a circle jerk in congratulations of their epic victory royale over the evil witch Karen. I can't lie, this one was a bit painful to read. If you are grouchy, irritable, or just plain mean, there will be a $10 charge for putting up with you. I take it this sign is aimed at the woman who didn't want ice cubes because she was afraid they weren't following COVID protocol. Ex-boyfriend got angry when I cut my hair. I had a boyfriend when I was 17 or 18 who I met on MySpace when that was still a thing, so this was a while ago. He told me many times he liked girls with long hair and it was one of the things he liked about me. I always was the type of person who couldn't decide if I wanted my hair long or short. Eventually, I just cut my hair in the summer because Florida's hot and I'd feel cooler with shorter hair. So while we were dating, a particularly hot summer came around and I decided to cut my hair. It was the year I decided to try an inverted bob. When I told him about it, he was pissed. He scolded me, reminding me how he didn't like girls with short hair. He didn't talk to me for days after. All I could think is it was a stupid reason to be angry and it's my head. I can do what I want with it. We broke up about half a year later. He actually demanded back all the gifts he had gotten for me. He didn't get them back. Wait, can you imagine? I know they're 17, 18, they're young, but they should still have some level of maturity, being like legal adults by this point. Can you imagine being in a relationship at 18 or 19 years old? You know, you're sitting alone together, whispering sweet nothings into each other's ears about how much you care about your significant other, and he leans in. He leans in real close to you and he says, "You know, I just love about you. I love how your hair is that length that it is." Guy who is enjoying playing on his Nintendo Switch exists. Karen, maybe if I say my angel did good on the spelling bee today, I will get free stuff, but if he doesn't give it to us, I threaten to tell security he stole my kid's portable Xbox. Yes, perfect plan. What is this meme? Like, what on it is almost 5,000 upvotes. I mean, I know upvotes don't really mean anything in real life, but it does mean that 5,000 people thought this warranted even a fraction of a second of their attention, which just absolutely blows my mind. I mean, come on, this is funny to anyone, this is entertaining. It's not even a well-constructed meme, good lord. I mean, look at the comments on this, and I quote, "My confusion is that Karen are stupid. That's she said portable Xbox, even it's a Nintendo Switch, even I had light version of Nintendo. What a stupid Karen." This sounds like a 10-year-old wrote it. You're not even allowed to have a Reddit account when you're 10, and holy good lord, he says in a post that he's 10 years old. Even though someone else points out to him that's against TOS. Well, that makes a lot of sense, actually. I feel bad for criticizing this guy, because he's literally too young to even be on the platform, but it does, however, explain the popularity of these kinds of posts.